Stars are whispering tales of old, planets spinning, stories bold. Life is dancing through the night, countless worlds in the starlight. Galaxies full of mystery, infinite in their history, beyond our dreams and our sights. Life blooms in the cosmic lights, dancing on the edge of space. Take me away, feeling the universal grace. In the dark our hearts ignite, life across the endless night. Nebulas with colors bright, birth new wonders in the light. Comets trail their sparkling tears, life endures through the years. In the silence of the void, every heartbeat is enjoyed. From the depths and to the heights, life expands through cosmic night. Dancing on the edge of space, and off we go, feeling the universal grace. In the dark our hearts ignite, life across the endless night. Dancing on the edge of space, and off we go, feeling the universal grace. In the dark our hearts ignite, life across the endless night.
Ta-da! Hey, welcome everybody. Welcome to Skyter Livestream. It is I, Mark D'Antonio. I'm hoping you guys are ready for some fun tonight. We're going to look at a bunch of different galaxies, kind of like this one. And then we're going to maybe go look for a supernova, not a supernova, a nova that occurred in the constellation of Lupus, which is just coming up now. I do want to say hi to everybody here. First of all, I want to say hi to Sally Forth, who was the first one here. Hello, Sally. And Sam S. is joining us. Daisy and Zoe Amethyst are with us. Tim F. Woohoo. How you doing, man? And Andy Cowley is with us. Hey, Andy. Right now, that in Mundus, Mundus Finite is with us. How you doing there, Mundus? And so that's it for now. And there'll be more, of course. And like this, here's Toner. Toner Low, what's up, brother? This galaxy we're looking at right here, this is a gorgeous galaxy. This is a galaxy called Messier 81. It's actually in the constellation that has the Big Dipper in it, and that's the constellation of Ursa Major, and that's the Great Bear, which you can see right here. There's the bear, okay, and the Dipper is right here. The Dipper is the body of the bear, and this is the tail of the bear, the tail of the dipper. And this galaxy is just off that nose cone at the front end here of the Big Dipper. And these galaxies that we're looking at, there's two in this region we're going to be looking at. The first is this one we're looking at now, Messier 81, otherwise known as Bode's galaxy. And then we're going to look at the Cigar galaxy, which is really a fascinating, interesting galaxy. These two galaxies have interacted with each other to some extent. And what's interesting is, okay, this galaxy is almost 12 million light years away. And this galaxy right here, all right, is 12 million light years away as well. So these two are separated from each other by about this much in reality. Okay, and let me just show you around the screen here again, because that's something that I haven't done lately. But I can do it. Let me just grab that. Okay, I can do it easily enough because over here. Okay, this is our new screen. Okay, this is the telescope control right there. Okay, right there. Actually, let me do a little better than that. Let me take my arrows and draw them. Okay, this is our old telescope view right here. This is our new telescope view. The beauty of this new view is that it's a pan and tilt system, so I can move it all around to show you the whole observatory. This is the entire Benson Observatory complex that we're in right now. You can see it right here, the building. And you look up here, this floor right here, that's big enough for a second telescope, and that's what we're going to do eventually, is put a second telescope in there. Okay, this is our large steel pier that's in here. There's our massive mount. That's actually white in real life too. And then we have the big old telescope sitting on top of that mount, peering up into the sky here with the roof open. It's really beautiful. And then this is our telescope controls. This is our telescope rendering. This is our stack screen, where we actually show all the parameters of the stack. Right here, we're seeing this Messier 81 getting stacked. All right, and then up here is one of the most important fields. That's called the exposure, and you can see we're doing a 45-second exposure of this galaxy right now, and we're doing it at this gain. Now the gain is very important. The gain is how sensitive the sensor is, and the sensitivity of the sensor can cause noise. The higher it is, the more noise there is. This will go to about 600, and we're doing it around 240, just under 250, right? And the gain and the exposure, you trade off on both of those. Okay, so these are those things. Now this here is another processing tab, so to speak. Here is another movement tab. We have our focusing system right here, right? And right here you see a list of filters. We have radian, we have dark, we have SA100. That's a gradient filter, so we can do spectra, but not the spectra like we've got the grant for from Asterion Foundation right here. Okay, that they're a phenomenal provider for us. They gave us a beautiful grant, but that's the layout of where we are and what we're doing here. And every now and then I color correct because it gets a little red, because we're actually taking photos while you can still see sunset light. So with our UHCS filter that we have on right here, it allows us to actually take pictures without getting them reddened too much. Every now and then you'll see green squares appear on this, and that's because the telescope is tracking objects in its field of view. All right, and when it sees these green squares, it says, "Hey, I see something." All right, and there's one right there. For instance, you saw one right there, and if I move over a little bit, okay, you'll see what looks like a light over here. Well, this light is actually on the other camera. It's this camera right here, and this camera is also picking up the infrared light of this camera right here. All right, so this camera sees this one, and this camera sees that one, so they see each other. So that's what those lights are. They aren't actually lights that are on. These are infrared systems. So the infrared lights show. The nice thing is the fact that we can move around. We can also look at the sky here and see what's going on. This is looking straight up through our opening, and look, we got a couple of stars right there. All right, up in the sky. So we get, there's actually a third one too. We get some stars there, but that's not what these cameras are for. That's not what they're for. If they were for looking just at the sky, they'd be ultra sensitive. And when I make the all-sky camera for this observatory, it's going to be a camera that's going to allow us to see extreme detail out there. Now, we are going to use Benson tonight because it's Galaxy season, and Galaxy season requires focal length, and that means higher magnification. And this is why we can see these details in here now that we couldn't see otherwise. Now I'm just going to take our black level here. I don't know if any of you noticed that, but we got to leave it just to the left of our peak to get the maximum amount of detail. These are all stars that are in here. And if I come into our enhancement tab, you can see we've got color noise reduction, which is important. If I turn it off, you'll see a lot more weird colors get in there. Some reds up here. That's from the sunset. But we can kick that out by doing that. Okay. And then we have the unsharp mask, which actually sharpens details in here. By the way, the infrared lights also attract bugs, so that's what we're seeing in here. So it's a trade-off. Okay, so then if we turn off the unsharp mask, okay, it gets a little bit softer, right? But it's okay. I like leaving it on because that's good for looking at detail in the spiral arms. Look at this detail in here. These are actually vast star bands in this galaxy that are actually creating many new stars. Really fascinating. Let's zoom in on those, shall we? If we zoom in on those, you can see that we actually have some really cool goings on in here. There's probably lots of nebulae in here. You can see spots of it here, chunks of it, right? We also see at the other end here, we see chunks of it. We see areas up here where we're seeing star clouds and so forth. All kinds of phenomenal stuff going on in this galaxy. This galaxy is somewhat it's not like ours. This one is not what's called a barred spiral. Here the nucleus is round, okay? And in a barred spiral, the nucleus has this lengthened star bar, okay? And so, but this one is considered a reasonably tightly wound spiral, but you see how the spiral arms trail off out here. And so what happens is, and this is the hard part to understand, when the galaxies rotate, they rotate kind of like a pinwheel, okay? But the arms, although there's differential rotation, what does that mean? It means that the stars in the center are going faster around the center of the galaxy than the stars are on the outside. But the stars in the inside should be going monstrously faster than the stars are on the outside, but we don't see that. Okay, in other words, Pluto takes over 200 years to go around the sun, right? And Mercury takes 88 days to go around the sun. So wait a minute. It's like, well, what's wrong with this picture? Why does Mercury only take 88 days? Because it's close to the sun, and that's how fast it has to go to stay in a circular orbit around our star. Okay? However, when we look at Pluto, it's a leisurely 200 plus years that it takes to go around the sun. And this is neat because when you look at that, you say, well, maybe the universe is modeled that way. So when we look at stars closer to the center of a galaxy, maybe they go really fast around the center of the galaxy, but the stars out here take a leisurely spin around the nucleus of the galaxy. Well, in fact, we don't see that. What we see is that the stars in the center and the stars in the outside actually don't have that much of a difference as expected. The stars in the outside seem to be going at a swift rate around the galaxy, and we don't understand why. Now, part of that could be due to this thing that some of you are thinking out there called dark matter. Dark matter is matter that is unlike matter we've seen before. It's a matter that may not be made up of regular baryons or the typical atoms that we have in our periodic table, but something a little more exotic that we have yet to identify. Or it's possible that, and this is where the research is going, it's possible that dark matter has been misunderstood for all this time, and we might actually be getting a better handle on what dark matter might be. So the research is still being done. It's coming in. I'm not in that research at this point. I can't do anything with it at this point. But hey, we're trying, and I will keep you apprised of all the latest and greatest developments. I want to tell you right now, this image of Messier 81 is really pretty. It's actually really pretty, and I've got much more detail I can bring in. This is the mid-level. Look how far away it is from that peak. If I bring it closer, everything gets a lot brighter. Okay, now you'll notice that when I pull it in closer, the closer I get, the more fuzzy it looks, right? That's because to have this much data, we need to acquire more images and stack more. So if you pull this level here, that middle one that I'm moving around right here, if you pull this one out until much of the modeling here vanishes, like most of it's gone in the center because we got a lot of data in there. But if I pull this back until we see less of that, like say right about there, then as we get more exposures, we can start to brighten that up and get more detail and not lose tons of detail to noise. So I'm going to take this mid-range and pull it just off the peak a little. Okay, there we go. All right, so now you can see some dark lanes in here. Look at that beautiful dark lane in Messier 81. Look at that. Now, with the Wickenburg telescope, we don't have this luxury. We can't see this close. But that doesn't mean the Wickenburg telescope, that is the Sonoran-based telescope, Sky Tour 1, is actually no good. It just means it's a wide field. When summer comes around, we're going to be, well, it's almost here, actually. First day of summer just passed. We're going to end up photographing the night sky both with this telescope and that telescope. And that telescope is going to give us wide field views of vast tracts of sky and gorgeous Milky Way. And then this one's going to hone in on a little small area of that same thing that we're taking a picture of in the other scope. And you'll get all those pictures available to you. And here's Marianne Robb. I just thanked you and Tara and Heidi for going out. I did that publicly just now. Yeah, Prow. Actually, you know what? Daryl has not been able to come to the streams lately, so I actually didn't ask him tonight. I mean, I have nothing wrong with it. I would. I just figured I'd get started. If he shows up and wants to join, he certainly can. He's always welcome. I just want to say hi to the Goblin. I want to say hi to Robert Miller. And Bob from Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania. Hi, Bob. That's not Bob Miller. And Kevin's with us from Vancouver, BC, British Columbia. Nice to see you as well. You guys have joined here just in time to see our new telescope view. It's a nice pan and tilt mount, so I can move it around and show you the whole observatory. Okay, so there you can see it's got an infrared system. It looks bright in there, but it's not. Okay, and that's Susie Karasik. Hi, Susie. I don't know. I actually didn't check with him before streaming tonight. Sometimes most times I'll say, hey, Daryl, we're going to stream. And he may or may not join. But tonight I just want to do a quick hit, several galaxies, check them out, and see. And Mundus is watching from the Rocky Mountains, Colorado. And it's 11:36, Amy. Hi, Amy. And she's in Edmonton, Alberta. I'm going to be in Nova Scotia in October, which is nowhere near Edmonton, but you mentioned it, so I said it. And it'll be really, really cool because I'm speaking at the Shag Harbor UFO conference, giving a scientific perspective on unidentified flying objects, and how they could actually be traveling, which is really interesting, if you think about it. Oh, hey, Sarge, I forgot this. I saw you up there. Nice to see you all here. It's so good of you to join. This is our first object. I haven't gone off of this yet, so we're good. Let me just do a color correction here. Okay, and notice the outside of this disc is kind of blue. That's because it really is. Right, the outside of this disc is actually where the youngest, hottest stars are. Right, so in these regions here, they're bluest because those are the hot blue O-type stars. Paxton, what's up? Hey, Paxton's from Harmony, Pennsylvania, right near Bob, I guess. I'd like to hear where you're all from. So if you guys just tell me where you're from, And Marianne, I know, was down in Benson. She was actually out in that building just a little earlier, which is nice. She was actually helping with Glenn, who works with us there as well, doing a nice deep clean of the telescope. And I have to say, they did an unbelievable job. Very, very unbelievable. Yeah. Yeah, I just said hello. Paxton said, yeah, just said hello to Bobby's my neighbor. Yeah, that's cool. And Skyter Live fan, I missed you earlier, but I see you there. How you doing, man? Good to see you. And I always ask, is Skyter Live fan Evan in our chat? I think you are, but if you aren't, let me know. Will you be in Baltimore or Washington, D.C. Doing any speech, any talks? No, I haven't been asked to come to Baltimore or Washington at all, Amy's in Ontario. Excellent. Very cool. But I will be... okay, thank you, Skyter Live. I am very, very excited to be able to do some of the talks that I do, because we're breaking new ground with this entire world of UFO travel, how they may travel. I'm someone that really thinks that they're out there, they're here. And it's funny, many of you know that Carl Sagan's my favorite astronomer, although he passed away. So I have to say, it's sad that he's gone, but he had some really wonderful observations about our planet, and he talked about how we should all just be able to get along, because we watch generals and admirals vie for little pieces of land here and there on our little tiny speck. And when seen from a distance, even the distance of Saturn, we're just that pale blue dot, as Carl Sagan said. And on that pale blue dot, it's amazing how we fight for control of little sections, of little minuscule sections of this pale blue dot. It just makes no sense when you think of it that way. But it's true, many different cultures spawn many different thought processes. Toner Lowe is watching from Montana. That's cool. And I mentioned Amy's in Ontario. Pittsburgh, Sally Forth. Really nice, really nice. So I'm really happy. Let me just move one of these things. There we go. Not that one. I'm going to move one more thing. Just a minute. Okay. All right. I just had to move something in my display, my broadcast display. Yeah. So we have 44 images captured here of the Messier 81 Galaxy. It's really looking beautiful. And we're guiding with our guiding system over here. We're locked right on. It's beautiful. It's working great. And we're going to do 45. I'm going to save it. Well, first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the target. So there's M81, Bode's Galaxy. We'll set the target name. And then we'll save with the annotation so you can actually see this with the name and all the data on it. That'll be saved. It already was up in our server. And all of this will be available to you. Go to skytourlive.org and you'll be able to download these images by going to the Take Me to Cool Pictures location. Let's move this a little bit further up, away from the wall. There we go. Okay, and now we're going to save this astronomical format. That is the one that we do image processing with. And then this one is the PNG file. So this is what you get up on the server in about 30 seconds. It'll be up there. This is the image you'll be able to download and take down to your machine for free. That one right there. Measure 81. Or this one, which is the annotated version. Okay. Or both. And no charge. Take them, enjoy them. Right, so we'll save this one more time. I can't resist saving that. Oh, this already exists. I must have saved it already. Okay, so I already saved it. Okay, good. So now we're going to come out of here and we're going to go to our low light mode. And in this low light mode, we are going to go to another really cool view. I'm going to stop the guiding right now. And this galaxy we're going to go to is none other than M82, and it's right next door. So let's go there. You might notice the telescope moving ever so slightly, and there it is, right there. Okay. What we'll do is come back to our guiding system. We're going to tell it to get some stars. Oh, I got to stop it first. There we go. Get some stars. Stop. Maybe it already did get the stars. And now we'll do this. Tell it to do that. And guide. Good. So we're guiding, and these other dots are secondary stars it's guiding on. And so that should be locked rock solid. So now, let's do this one. Let's do this at 35 seconds. And you can see I put the 35 seconds up here in the exposure time. All right, and off we go. All right, so here, down here in the lower right, just to the left of our Asterian Foundation sponsor, you can see our beautiful progress bar right there. And we're going to drop out of low light mode and go into deep sky mode. So let me take us into our deep sky stack here. That is Bode's Galaxy. Yes, Amy. That was Measure 81. And here's the other Bode's Galaxy coming right up. This is coming up in 1 second is Measure 82. And that's right there. This galaxy looks remarkably different from the other one. And I'll explain all about that. Now here's our curve. I'm going to color correct it first. And then I'm going to move this black level back so we can get all the data. All right, so that's the data that we're looking at right there. And if I don't zoom the horizontal axis and I just do this, I'll drop this down a little bit for now. And then I'll zoom it again. Okay, what we're looking at here is a galaxy. It's sort of on edge a little bit. Now keep in mind, this is right near Measure 81 in the sky, physically. It's literally 12 light years away, and Measure 81 is just like 11.6, 11.8 million light years away. So they're right near each other physically in the sky. And they've interacted. So Measure 81's gravity has affected this galaxy in a way that caused it to look as it does. Now, notice the red areas, okay? These red areas, all right, that we're looking at, primarily this red area right here inside the square, okay? That red area is an area of absolutely utter intense star formation going on. Something has kicked off a major amount of star formation, and it's unbelievable what's happened here. So I'm going to tell you a little more about that here. Let me just get my camera situated. There we go. Okay, so interaction with the galaxy has caused, the other galaxy, Messier 81, has caused this galaxy to undergo this rapid formation. And what that means is that the galaxy stars have actually been brought near each other. The gas has been compressed, and that compression of the gas, moving gas clouds near each other, caused gravitational contraction within the clouds, which ended up causing this amazing star formation to kick off. And when stars form in a gas cloud, mostly hydrogen, then these young hot stars that are formed will ionize the gas cloud. And when hydrogen is ionized, it glows red, and that's what we see here. It's glowing red because it's been ionized. Now, let me do this. Let me come out of here, and let's bring this in a little bit to try and pull out a little more detail, because there's something else that's going to become very apparent here as we do this. Alright, so as we do this, alright, I want you to notice that there seems to be more going up here and down here. And the answer is that there is. Okay, if we just do this over processing, you can see there's more of the above and below of this red stuff. Okay, and we'll get to figure. I'll get to tell you why more that's happening in a little bit. See, as we get to see more of it, it'll become more clear. All right. So what's happening is that we're seeing jets of this gas, this hydrogen gas, being ejected from the top and the bottom of this galaxy. And so it has this spray of material this way and this way. And in the past, this galaxy was called the Exploding Galaxy. Now we know better, and it's called a starburst galaxy. You know, and that's the thing that's interesting with this right now. Amy's asking a question. Let me see. She says, from the finder scope, is that Bode's galaxy from the finder scope? No, this is Bode's this is Bode's other galaxy. I know you were talking about M81 earlier, but this is the primary view. It's from this big telescope here. There is no finder per se. We do have a second camera attached, and it's doing guiding, and it's got a little prism sticking down into the same field of view that this is in, and it's outside the view here. It's not visible in our view, but it's sticking down into the view, so we're not seeing the whole view. We're missing a tiny little bit, and in that tiny little bit, I've got that little prism sticking down, picking off a little bit of the field. Kathy Messick says, hi, folks. Hello, Kathy. How are you? So nice to see you out in California at Contact in the Desert. Skyter Life fan says, that looks like, and you're saying Caldwell 32, the Whale Galaxy? The Whale Galaxy kind of looks similar, except for this red. You don't have this red in the Whale Galaxy, you know? And let's see now. I wonder if we can... Let me go look and see here. Just a second. Let's try this. I want to see how far away that is. I kind of remember where it is. Yeah, there's the Whale Galaxy. It's right near the Crowbar. And that's going to be up there too. Okay. Alright, tell you what we'll do. See, there's the Whale Galaxy. And you're right in the sense that it's long and thin like the Whale Galaxy, but it doesn't have the red stuff in here. Now you can start to see some of this red stuff coming out, top and bottom. See that? We're seeing a lot of that. We also, by the way, I didn't mention this, with this view we have sound, and I can actually hear... I hear wind, and I hear people if they were there. There's nobody around there tonight. There was the other night. I was doing a test last night, and I saw a piece of wood come up above here and travel along the side of the building, because we're in a line of 10 observatories with 9 other professional astronomers along with me. And so this building is the one we decided to take. It's the last one in the line, which is great. You know? Yeah, all right, let me see here. Skyter Live fan says, Marianne Robb, I love your positivity. Yeah, she's right. You know, she writes, so wonderful to have friends from all over the world. The STLS family. Absolutely. You guys are incredible. I'm taken aback by your generosity and your willingness to support everything that we're doing here. You know? I mean, my goal is to literally... you know, I'd like to be the next Bill Nye the Science Guy and kind of replace him. He's gotten too political for me. I'd rather he just stick to science. Just stick to science. People don't need to hear diatribes about politics. Okay, look at that. Now you can see this stuff racing out the top and the bottom. And again, as we let it go. Hey, Kathy, is that you? Kathy Prunisic, is that you? I think it is. And Isabella's with us. Hi, Isabella. Nice to see you. So good to see you. So, Kathy Prunisic, are you in Pennsylvania as well? Is that what the PA means? You know, interesting. Yeah, I was asking tonight for folks to let me know where you are, and I'm going to read the quotes later, the chat later, just to see where everybody's from. I just think it's moi. I would just want to check out where everybody's coming from. I know we have people from very far away, like Isabella. She's in Bulgaria. It's morning for her right now. The later we start, the better it is for her. Kathy is in northwestern PA. I have a lot of people here from Pennsylvania. We got Paxton, yep. Yeah, I knew it was PA's Pennsylvania. I just wanted to make sure that in her name, the PA meant Pennsylvania. Then Kathy Messick is in Seattle, of course. Her daughter Candace is in Virginia. But Candace doesn't join us tonight. I don't know if she's ever been here, Kathy. Let me know. But it's fun. So we're gonna take a look. Let me just turn my voice down here because it's like getting a little loud. That's a little better, right? I don't like screaming in your ears. And Goblins in Alabama. Yeah. Tiffany Echoes with us. Tiffany's in California. And Susie's in the San Francisco area near Berkeley. Yep. Very cool. Oh, look at this. Now you can see this stuff coming out the top here. Look at that. Now, make sure you guys have this on 1080p, okay? You have to have it on 1080p. You can read the screen with 1080p. See everything I'm doing at 1080p. Very, very nice. Very cool. Kathy says, I've been working on Candace to join us. Past her bedtime in Virginia. Well, I'm in Connecticut, okay? And it's past my bedtime all the time. It's okay. I think that's cool. Oh, yeah. I have to say, this telescope is... this telescope is performing very well. Far better than... I had expected. Marianne Robb says, guess where I am? Haha. Well, she's about 6 minutes from the building right now because she happens to be down in Benson with Glenn and Glenn's wife, Laddie. They've been very good friends for a long time. Initially, this telescope was going to be on Glenn's land that he has. But when the opportunity came up to put an observatory... or put a telescope in an existing observatory that we didn't have to buy, wow, you know, I mean, it just, I had to do it. Now, even though we are paying a leasing fee, we pay $400 a month to be in this observatory, which is why, you know, unfortunately, I always ask if you guys can support us. Go to our Patreon and do something. But for that fee, we can put as much equipment in this building as we can get in there. And I'm planning on putting a lot in there. I am. Now, Susie says she's on a tablet and doesn't know how to get to 1080. That's 1080p. P as in Peter. It's in the settings in YouTube. If you are on a tablet and you zoom in, can you read any of these words? If you can, then you're good. If you can't, then you're probably not in 1080p. Marianne, don't you be asking folks for rain. No way. If you asked for rain, we'd be rained out tonight, and that wouldn't work. It was close to 100 in the building today when they were working out there. Yeah. Yeah, I guess that rain's coming to me, Kathy. Kathy says if she could send rain to Marianne, she would. Okay. We're drenched. Donald Kunzer, hey. Yeah, you know what? Donald, he says, I caught a show finally. You know what? In the summer, Don, we actually start later because it doesn't get dark until later out in Arizona. And I'm 2,600 miles away in Connecticut. So for me, it's 12:30 right now. You know? And it's 12:30 a.m. in the morning, right? So when I do this, it's going to be a long night. But you know what? You guys like it. You get a kick out of it. I get a kick out of it. You get valuable data. And once the spectrograph comes in, we'll be able to show you, for instance, we'll be like basically take a slice through this galaxy and show you everything we're seeing in there. So we actually see exactly what's going on there. And that's something that's going to be really, really exciting. Yeah. And Donald says, I'm usually out by 11. Well, I'm glad you stuck around, Don. And I'll tell you this. Obviously, during the winter, we have earlier hours, don't we? Of course. However, in the summer, we got to go later because of the way because Earth is on it's flipped on it's 23.5 degrees on its axis. Leaning back. So we have that going on. Can't fight it. Can't fight City Hall. All right, let me just drop this down. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is take my target name here called the Cigar Galaxy, set the target. All right. And now that the target is set, I am going to save this image just like you see it there, and then get rid of that because we don't need it, and then I'll save this and save exactly as seen. And most of our frames have been perfect. A little wind will affect it and they will reject those frames, but we're still guiding over here. As you can see, we're dead center guiding with secondary guiding stars. There is the Cigar Galaxy right there. It's actually in our guiding view, which is kind of cool. And there's the peak. We want a nice clean peak to guide on, and this is a perfect star. So this is good. So we're going to get 25 of these. All right, there we go. 25, and I'll hit save and save exactly as seen, and there we are. So now we have imaged Messier 81 and Messier 82. These images are going up to skytourlive.org on a server right here, so you can just go up there and grab those and enjoy them. Now there's another thing I want to check out. And we're going to come first of all into our planetarium program, right? And it was the Whale Galaxy, as I told you before. We're going to compare this to the Whale Galaxy. So we're going to see if we can go there. Watch the telescope now. You'll see the telescope. I think you can hear it now. Can you hear it moving? Probably not. Oh. Duh. I had to stop guiding. Alright. I'm not sure if we caught the Whale Galaxy yet. We're not that far off. But what I'll do is I'm going to do a 10-second shot here and see if it's in here. If it's not, I can at least do a plate solve on it and then move to it. Telescope is fairly well aligned. Okay, I don't see it. Let's see if it sees it. Okay, so what I can do now is say plate solve and resync, and it'll put that galaxy right in the middle of the view. Okay, so I can... There we go. There's the Whale Galaxy right there. Okay, so we're going to come into our deep sky mode here, but I'm going to say let's do a 30-second shot of this guy. Okay, so 30 seconds, off we go, and you can see where the telescope is pointing right there. Okay, it's pointing out there. Where it's pointing is actually kind of toward the north. All right, so this is the north wall right here of the observatory. Okay, this is this here is the south wall. Okay, the north wall is this one right here. Okay, and we're kind of sitting up there. There's the Whale Galaxy right there. I gotta start guiding. I didn't even do any guiding. I gotta set that going too. No problem. Just do this and do this. Yeah, this is gonna be really cool looking. And we're gonna redo this because it's not quite good enough because we're not guiding yet. So we'll do this. And we'll say, give me a star for guiding. All right. That's a good star. All right, so we're guiding. Now what we do is we come in here and we're going to clear this image we just took. And we got that out. We got that out. We're not doing any over processing. Why is it saying it's missing something? Whoa. What moved? Wow, something moved. I guess we moved. Yeah, I don't know why it moved, but something happened. Okay, now we're guiding again. We're going to let it stabilize. It may miss one of these, which is fine. Okay. And we're going to move that down there. Pull this up to the peak, darken it up. Color correct. There we go. See, so why is it doing that? It shouldn't be. Oh, the wind. Oh, I'm sorry. It's the wind. We're getting wind hitting this. Okay, that's why. That makes sense. See what happened? I shall unstack it though. Bring it back from death. Okay. So let's re-grab a star. The wind was where the telescope's pointing. It's like that telescope. The end of the telescope's like a sail. It captures the wind and causes it to move around. And all it has to do is move it a tiny little bit at this magnification, and boom, boom, we get problems. Wow, that's something else. So there's the whale, and we got 3 so far taken. We're going to have lost a few. There we go. We're good. Okay. Who was mentioning England? Oh, Annie Lane. Oh, you're in Cornwall. Well, have a good morning to you, Annie. It's so nice to see you here. How'd you find us, Annie? Hopefully you subscribed. It's free. So there's the whale galaxy. Let's we have this here. There's another galaxy too here that you can see down here. And that galaxy, I just had it up. I'll just name it. Is NGC 4630. No, 4627. That's this guy. Really interesting. Fascinating. Creeptasia's with us. What's up, man? What's up? Nice to see you. I'm gonna take a drink of water now. Okay, this is cool. Let's zoom in, shall we? Yeah, look at that. You know, what's funny is I didn't do a critical focus yet. So we'll get there. Huh. Kathy Pranasek. That's funny what you said about tornadoes. Daisy and Zoe said, I would rather not visit Oz. Yes. That is true. To be fair, I've told you guys I was on a tornado chase team years ago. Because why not? And I don't know, they're fascinating, you know, especially when you actually have one, when you're live in that moment where you've got a tornado and you're on the hunt and chasing it. Oh man, your adrenaline really surges. I was working on Alien Invasion Hudson Valley, and Ben Hansen, good friend of mine, and I were working on the show together as cast members, and Melissa Tittle, well, she was sound asleep, but Ben bangs on the hotel door. It had to be like 11:30 at night, and I answered the door, like I was almost ready to go to bed, and Ben says, "Look!" and he points his weather radar in my face. He's got it on his special weather tracker system he has, portable tracker system. He goes, "Look!" I went, "Oh my gosh, is that a supercell?" He goes, "Yeah, it's a tornado." I said, "Want to chase it?" He goes, "Yeah." So we run out to the car, and it's already raining now. This is a big black Chevy Suburban that they rented for us in the cast to use to drive around and do video segments for. So it appears in the show. Well, we're going down to get in the car, and I pull the door open against this massively strong wind that's now hitting us. And I jump in the car, and I'm sitting in a puddle. Because in the time I took to open the car door, the rain coming in horizontally filled my leather seat with water. And I ended up sitting in the water. And I sat down. Ben laughs at me, going, "Oh," I go, "No, I'm soaked, Ben. Looks like I wet my pants." And he goes, "Oh my gosh," he goes, "it's coming down really hard." So we get in the car, we start chasing this thing, and I'm looking at the weather radar saying, turn left, okay, go straight, okay, turn right. And he goes, "Where is it?" And we're trying to find it, but because neither of us knew the streets of the city, we couldn't navigate quick enough through the city and safely enough. Driving rain, I mean, it just wasn't possible. So we didn't catch it, but we decided to drown our sorrows by going to Coldwater, was it Coldwater Creamery? Where we actually got ice cream. We walk in, we're the only two people in there, and they close at midnight or 12:30. It was really late place. And we walk in, and this one person in there behind the counter looks at us. We're two drowned rats, and we're squishing across the floor on this tile floor in soaked sneakers. And we're walking across the floor looking at the menu, and she's got this look of wide-eyed amazement on her face, like, where are you guys coming from? And Ben says, oh, we're all wet because we were just chasing a tornado. Tornado? Yeah, we just had a tornado touchdown here in Danbury. She goes, oh no. I said, don't worry, it's gone already. We missed it, unfortunately. And she was like blown away. She goes, what do you want for ice cream? It's like we didn't think anything of it. But it was really, really funny. You know, it was crazy. Cold Stone Creamery, thank you. I said cold water, but I think that's because I sat in a puddle of cold water in that truck they had us. Cold Stone, thank you guys. Marianne and Kathy corrected me. Ugh. All right, so we got 14 images here on this one. This is pretty. It's going to have some really pretty detail in it. You'll notice that this one is rather blue. That's because this particular galaxy does have a lot of young stars in it, and it has the cooler, older stars in the middle. And that's the only similarity to the Messier 82. This is probably a spiral galaxy, but seen like if you look at me in the image here, about like that. Not this, not on edge. Maybe it's like this or like that. But if it was like that, we'd actually see the spiral arms. You can kind of see them here going around. Well, let's see what kind of galaxy it says this is. It's a barred spiral, S, capital B. All right. So it does have a bar in here that's not really very evident. I can't really see it. Either way, we had probably a Starlink satellite go through here really quick. All right. And then 17 here. This is all good. Let's see how our guiding's going. Our guiding is going okay. We do have a secondary star to guide on. The square one is the primary. We have a tertiary one here and a quaternary. So we do have a secondary, tertiary, quaternary, and oh no, he's got another Starlink come through. I better save it. I could unstack it, but you know, it's a hard one 30-second, a hard one image. Skytour fine. I'm not a Skytour fan. I'm not sure. Hey, Zephyr Pants, what's up, man? He says, "Love this," or he or she, "Love this. Thanks for doing this." Oh no, it's okay. This is what we do. We have 520 such streams up on our Skytour live stream on YouTube. Well, you can get to all of it from skytourlive.org. But join us, join us. It's free. You can download images like this for free as soon as we take them. Like that image I just saved, it's already on the server, and you can download it and enjoy it. Now, if people join our Patreon up here, well, for I think the level of $10 a month gets you 4 fully processed images that you can do anything you want with in terms of putting them under frames, under glass. And if you actually want to do that, we do have a service up there that allows you to get that as well. And if you read Marianne's comment, Hey, Michael Hedrick, how you doing, man? She says, everyone, we have some really awesome new STLS shirts and hats for a small donation of $25. Yeah, that's we see. We want to start doing this swag thing. If we get donations of a certain amount, one time or otherwise, you can get for the very first time you donate $25, you get a T-shirt that has the Sky Tour Live logo on the front, and on the back it says "I need my space," and it shows all the planets, including Pluto. Thank you very much. Yes, Pluto is a planet to me. And I've mentioned this before. I knew Clyde Tombaugh, who was the guy that found Pluto. I sat with him. We were both at an astronomy conference, and just before he went on to do his talk, we were talking about Pluto and how he found it. It was just incredible, you know. Yeah, incredible man. And he wasn't even an astronomer, you know. He just worked at the observatory, but he was allowed to use the telescopes, which is incredible. So I do believe Pluto is a planet, and whether it's really a dwarf planet or not doesn't matter to me. It's part of our solar system. It has 5 moons of its own. This thing is a planet. Okay. So there you go. Okay. All right, we're at 24 images here. That's good. Let's go see. Oh, not bad guiding. We only lost 1 to the wind. Paxton says, yes, Pluto is still a planet to me as well. I have a T-shirt with Pluto on the front and it says, never forget. I love that. That's a good one. That's a really good one. Our I Need My Space T-shirt is really popular. We had a whole bunch of them at Contact in the Desert, and then at and then when was it? Pine Bush in New York State, which came back from Contact, had a day in between, and then off I went to New York to do a talk. And we had those there. Marianne actually spoke in New York as well with Dave Rich, her partner, about her UAP PD, which is UAP police, which collects police reports around the world. I think they're focusing in the country right now. And the police reports in the country are focused on aerial anomalies that are seen by law enforcement, which is really kind of needed. Paxton says, I have the I Need My Space t-shirt too. Okay. Very cool. Okay, we got 28. We're going to go to 30, and then we're going to have enough detail. Look at the detail in the core here. That's really pretty. I'm hearing wind out there through the speaker here. Yeah, it's something else, I'm telling you. Okay, that annoying noise was a siren that I can initiate in the event of an emergency. I just did a test. Make Pluto a planet again. That's right. Yeah. I'm part of the MPPA. Make Pluto a planet again. Donald Kunzer says, I've heard some dumb arguments in my time, but the whole Pluto scandal is near the top of the list. Yeah, you know, I have to agree. I don't know what the whole point was. Was somebody mad that Clyde Tombaugh wasn't a true astronomer? Do you know some of the best discoveries have been made by non-astronomers? David Levy, who I know, I've talked to him. Okay, David Levy's a comet hunter. And David Levy's found all kinds of comets, probably more than many other people in the world. He's not an astronomer. He's not a professional astronomer. He doesn't use gear as sophisticated as ours. But the man is extremely prolific, and he finds this incredible amount of. He's just patient, and he's methodical, and so he finds a lot of comets, and he deserves all the credit he does. Yeah. Annie Lane says, subscribed a while ago. Follow Dr. Fox 2000. C&D Boy mentioned you on Foxy's chat ages ago. Yeah, actually, that's good. C&D Boy, thanks, man. Dr. Fox and I know each other, and he's a really good guy. He's a geology guy, and as an astronomer, you have to understand Earth science. So I spent years looking at the manner in which volcanoes operate and how they work, which is why I'm very familiar with Yellowstone and its possibilities and so forth, and the real possibilities of Yellowstone, not the overinflated claims that you see on the internet, as an example. And Dr. Fox is too. And Dr. Fox actually came into one of our shows, and I've been on many of his as well. So it's a lot of fun. He's a good guy. And his channel is Dr. Fox 2000, by the way. And if you look at Annie Lane's comment here, she makes it very clear. Dr. Fox 2000. Yeah, he's a good guy. Well, I'm glad you joined us, Annie. England's not too far away. Australia's not too far away for me to go to either. I actually, there's some folks in Australia. I did a presentation for them from here with Zoom. But I want to go to Australia because I'd like to scout some locations to put a Southern Hemisphere Observatory. Now, I'm not made of money. None of us are. But if I can get grants like, Asterium Foundation over there, they gave us money to buy a spectrograph system and the camera we're using now, because we're using it on this telescope until we get the new camera that will be even better than this one. But this camera is perfect for the spectrograph, so we're going to use it on the spectrograph. But right now it's on this telescope until we get that new camera. So that said, we are looking at adding another telescope. There's two places. I'm looking currently at the San Luis Valley in Colorado. We've actually been invited to potentially put a telescope on massive expanse of land in what's called a Bortle 2 site. The Bortle system discovered, actually created by John Bortle, Bortle, has 10 designations. Okay, it goes from 0 to 9, 0 being pitch blackness, and 9 being the center of, say, Phoenix or downtown Chicago. And 2 is extremely dark. It's many times darker than 3, which is where we are now. This is a Bortle 3 sky, which is so dark you can't see your hand in front of your face as it is. All right, so that's incredible for that. These details are coming in so much nicer. I'm going to zoom in some more. Let's just do this here. Oh, look at that. Wow, look in there, guys. This is detail we just couldn't get last time. Look at that. All right, we're going to save. This is 37 images. See, when we had one image, it wasn't remotely this good, right? Okay, so 37. And save. So let's go out of here. Let's go back to our low light mode and jump up, back out. And now I actually do want to do a focus run. But first things first, we're gonna I want to look at the Crowbar Galaxy too, but I also want to get some stars to focus on. Let's just try. Let's see if we can go here. Maybe we can get a few stars to focus on. Yeah, this should do. So what I'll do is I'm going to set the exposure to 3 seconds. Okay. Yeah, that'll work. All right, so let's go back to 1 second for a moment. All right. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click the positive here until it goes obviously out of focus like that. And then I'm going to just bring it back a tad. It'll sharpen this up and shorten the whole process. Where am I here? There we are. Okay. All right, now I'll go back to 3 seconds. And we're going to start a focus run. Let's go focus. All right, and we're going to go to the negative. So it's going to start collecting data and doing a focus run for us. Okay. And what it's going to do is it's going to build a curve, and that curve is going to be a parabola, a focus parabola. The bottom of that parabola is the smallest diameter of the star images, and so it's going to build a curve that has those images, and then it's going to calculate where the bottom of that curve is, even if it doesn't calculate right exactly where it is along the way here. So it's going to make a curve, and it's going to interpolate where the bottom of the curve is. We're kind of in the we're in the northwest right now. All right. So as the stars get more in focus, you can see that the curve is going to drop down. Then it's going to, when it gets in focus, that'll be the bottom of the curve. And then when it gets out of focus again, it's going to start going up. And when it starts going up, we will get our it'll solve for the center of the parabola, the vertex. So it's down pretty low right now. And the next one will probably be level with it or so, maybe a little lower. And then it'll start going up. So let's watch it go. James Small is with us. Hey James, how you doing? Nice to see you. The man, the myth, the legend. Right. Sure. All is well, James. Thank you so much. So nice to see you again. There's our curve generating right there. See that? Look at that. There it is, and right on cue. There's the best focus. And right now we're at step 9. If we let it go to 12, it's going to refine this number. And that's the position. We have like 55,000 positions for focus. And the more that we do here, the better our focus will get. Okay? So once it has the best focus, it actually will set that focus level to that particular place. And that's fantastic. So there we go. So this gives us our focal position. And I'm pretty happy with that. Okay. So now what I can do is I can go back to this Crowbar Galaxy. right now, and we'll drop back to it. There we are. There it is. And I will move it up a little bit. There we are, and then move over a little bit. There we are. All right. Okay, Mr. Django, how you doing? Nice to see you as well. Good morning to you, sir. And let's now come in here. We're going to close. We're going to stop doing any guiding. We're going to get an image. And we're going to grab a guide star. There we go. We got a guide star. So we say go. And now we're guiding. We have a secondary and tertiary guide stars. So we're going to keep those. Oh, even a quaternary. Good. All right, so now, barring any wind, what I can do is we can take a 25-second shot here. And by the way, just so you guys know, I could take a 20-minute shot. I could take a 15-minute shot, a 10-minute shot. But in the interest of making this exciting and interesting, I would prefer to be able to give you several objects a night. And so I select objects that don't require a huge amount of finesse on our part. But can I do that? Well, yeah, I could. Okay, here's the Crowbar Galaxy right there. Now, I'll give you one guess why it's called a crowbar. Okay? Yeah, you guessed it. Very obviously. Uh-oh. That's better. Okay. I'll give you one guess, like I said, why they call it the Crowbar Galaxy, and that is because of this shape right here. Not the best art, but you see, it's got a little hook right here. That's the crowbar. Pretty cool. All right, so now coming back here. And as you see, every time we just start taking an image, the first few images are really noisy like this, see? But that changes. It gets better and better and better. And we're still guiding away here. All right. So while we're watching this, I'll take you on a little tour of this observatory. Okay. You look right there. We're in right here. This is the door to come in. And it's a 10 by 10 building. And then over here on that's the south wall right there. And this here is the edge of the roof. That's not all the way off. It's supposed to be all the way off, but this is the opener. And this can't be adjusted because the opener has to be changed out. We're going to be doing that at some point. And then down below all this, okay, is the mini computer that runs all this. Okay, that white glow is because the infrared LEDs are looking at the edge here. There's an edge of a shelf this is on, or a shelf, or it's plastic shelf. So there's the computer that runs all this right there, and this is the monitor, and so this is the computer console section right here. And now I also have a relay over there that's really useful. There's our big steel pier. That pier is 66 inches tall, weighs about 150 pounds, and the telescope mount, the white part here, is on it right there, and then the telescope was put on that right there. Now at the back end of the telescope, this is a good place to look at this. We have the camera right here, right? And we have, actually I should probably just, for the time being, just do this. Okay, we have the camera right here, and then we have a filter wheel right here. And this is an auto-focusing system, which is how we're actually focusing. And this right here is hard to see, but you're looking down on top of a guiding camera, which is going and sticking a little tiny prism into the field and picking off a tiny little prism section, which is where this thing is looking. Okay? And so it's actually getting stars and doing this. It's called an off-axis guider. Okay? So we have the camera, we have the filter wheel, which has the radiant filter, the OHCS, the gradient, the dark black filter for doing dark frames. So we can see what, in full darkness, what the sensor is doing. And then we have an open one with no filter whatsoever, just an open hole. Okay, and then ahead of that, we have the off-axis guider. And then ahead of that, we have this little extra tube, which is actually an amazing focal reducer. It actually reduces the focal length, or the magnification, so to speak, of the telescope. It makes it photographically faster, so it goes from an f10 to an f7. And it's really quite nice. Hello, Hein Sherry, how are you? Marianne's going to bed. Aw, poor baby. Get out of here. We don't need you. Just kidding. We need her very, very much so. Without her, without Tara, without Heidi, none of this would happen. So it's all good. Sally Force says, that little blackout happened as I was reading the words, the call of the void. That's funny. And then I had a void. Yeah, actually, the blackout was me accidentally shutting down the stream, not the stream, but the live video. But I got it back immediately, and we got right back to business here. So what do you think of this layout? Is this layout good? I mean, I still do things like this where I'll actually say I'm going to put this down, and I'm going to maximize this, okay? But then this and these things stay on the screen, so I can at least do this much of it, all right, and show you this, and then we'll have this screen just be down there if we need it. I'm going to try and bring this up here. This is our mid-level. Get a little more detail in there in our Crowbar Galaxy. Yeah. Now, it's interesting because the Crowbar Galaxy has its shape because of interactions with other galaxies. And so that's something that is really hard to dispute. So if we go here and we go to the Crowbar Galaxy right here, right? The Crowbar Galaxy is 23 million light years away, 23.5 million light years away. The Whale Galaxy we just looked at, right, is 22.5 million light years away. So 23.5, 22.5. They're very close to each other physically in space. So yes, these galaxies have influenced each other. And the Crowbar has taken the brunt of it, as you can see. It's been warped strangely like this. Okay? So yeah. And Genghis Khan, what's up, brother? He says, I saw a CNN report on Contact in the Desert, and we saw you on there. Looked like a great event. Yeah, they were there. That was kind of fun. I did a couple of sky watches with Ben Hansen, and the CNN team thought that the sky watches were pretty cool, so they spent a lot of time working with us. It was really nice. Donald Kunzer says, is Cygnus overhead right now? Not yet. Let me show you where it is. So if I zoom out here and we look up, okay, I'm actually looking at zenith coordinates here. So right now overhead is Bode's, okay, and we have Corona Borealis right here, which will have the which will have also we'll be able to show you a few things. Now I know that the Milky Way is coming up here. Excuse me. Milky Way is coming up, and we'll be able to see some neat things. I'm sure. And Cygnus is out here. Okay, so Cygnus is here. This is Cygnus, and right now Cygnus is about 35 degrees above the horizon. See it? And at 35 degrees, you know, it's not that high. But we might be able to look at the Dumbbell Nebula again here. That's kind of cool. Dumbbell Nebula is a planetary nebula. So this will get higher as the season moves on. But down here in the Sagittarius region here, we have Herschel 36. And it's only 25 degrees above the horizon. It's a beautiful stellar nursery called the Lagoon Nebula. And of course, this is still dutifully coming in. Let's see what we've got here. 24. I'm going to go to 25. So we're going to dock this again. So now we're docked up. Here's 25. We'll save it. Okay, I saved it to the wrong thing. I forgot to put Crowbar Galaxy. So let me at least change that. Okay, so we'll do that. All right. Set the target name, accept the error. Yes. And then save with annotations. The whole thing's in there. It's just that it's off the view a little bit. So now we'll say save with annotations. Okay. And then we'll come out of here. Okay. Now I can save it all again correctly. And it'll just have one directory with an extra thing in there that it shouldn't. Save exactly as seen. Not as impressive as the others, I grant you. Well, let's see what the color correction shows us. Alright. How about save exactly as seen again? Overwrite. So now it's at least got the right colors. Okay. So we'll come out of here. Go back to 1 second. All right. Alrighty. Now, I'm gonna give you a little surprise. We're gonna go and look at Herschel 36, which is the Lagoon Nebula. All right. Now, it's way up in the northeast, so telescope's gonna end up looking that way. Okay, so let's tell it to go there. Actually, southeast, I mean. So it's going to go and start looking this way. It's going to start looking back. Yep. Oh, I got to turn off my guider. Okay. Okay, so telescope's heading now for Herschel 36. You see the star streaks as it's zipping through. and it's going to be heading and looking over my head to the behind me here. All right, you can see that from this view here. All right, and you'll see here comes our view. And there's a, let's see how far away we are. Okay. Okay. Well, let's plate solve and resync. With the wind that is hitting us now and then, it's not unlikely that we could be off, but it'll show up right now. We weren't off by far. This is the Lagoon Nebula. Now, it's helpful to understand that when we look at the Lagoon Nebula, we're looking at a stellar nursery, a place where stars are being born every second. Not every second, but in a massive amount of stars. And I also want to make sure that we're focused here. And I don't think we are. I think we got to do a little refocusing. And the reason is because we tend to get what's called mirror flop, which is what happens when the telescope mirror is moved too much. It tends to shift a fraction of a millimeter. And that's all it takes. So here we've corrected it. Okay. So now, if you look at this nebula, and we're looking at this nebula only from the point of view of, I'm going to wait and see if this stops. Yeah, okay. We have this hot cluster of stars. We also have right here, this right here, that is one of the hottest and bluest stars in the entire universe. That's an O-type star. And that O-type star is extremely bright and extremely hot. Most of its energy is given off in the ultraviolet. So that said, it's the source of the power that lights up this much of this nebula. But why don't I stop talking about it and just show it to you? So here's what we'll do. We're going to get some stars. All right. There we go. Of course, we have plenty. Now we'll grab our guide stars. There we go. And we'll start guiding. This guiding will be very successful. If you notice, there's a star inside every single circle. So that's all of our secondary guiding, secondary lock-on stars. Okay. So that said, let's do a 25-second photo of this region. And you'll see how much is hiding in the background here, guys. This is really incredible. Toner Low says, does the Milky Way have similar waves in the disk from satellite galaxies? Actually, Toner Low, we do have the large and small Magellanic Clouds, yes. Okay. Okay, we have wind hitting us. So, yeah, look at that. You wait until you see this. Yeah, we have wind hitting us, so it's really... I have to come back and re-grab these stars. I mean, it has them. It's guiding again. So let's hope the wind stays away. You're going to see a beautiful dark lane here inside here. Look at, oh my gosh. Yeah, this is really something. Let's, yeah, we're going to fight the wind a little bit, but check out this beautiful view. My gosh. There is that O-star center. Okay, and this dark nebula in here. Life began in the dark. You know, so... yeah, I gotta tell it not to announce. I don't like when it gives me that noise every time it can't guide, because it usually gets it back. Alright, so we got 2. And now what I'll do is I'm going to pull this over to the top here just about. You see a little more dark. Oh gosh, that's gorgeous. Let's back out a little. Look at this nebula, guys. Wow. Let's color correct it too. Alright. And oh yeah, that's just crazy good. And now I'm gonna, this is the first time I've ever imaged this, by the way, with this camera. Look at all the detail. This is stuff we could not see with the other telescope because it's too wide a field. But with this, we can see all this detail. It's absolutely amazing. Wow. Whew. This is the Lagoon Nebula. And it is actually, let's set it up here. The lagoon is defined by this homunculus, this area that looks like an hourglass, and this hot O star, which is causing hydrogen emission for light years around it. It's just incredible. So we'll set the target name to Lagoon. Alright, and we'll save with annotations, and then we can get out and enjoy the view. Look at that. Let's do this. What do you say? Now, what's interesting in these nebulae that you'll see inevitably, and I just can't get over how beautiful this is, guys. I mean, I'm taken aback by how beautiful it is. Oh. Okay. There's been a few questions. Does the Milky Way have similar? Oh, okay. Yeah, I answered. I think I started to answer that and didn't really do it, did I? The answer to your question, Toner, is the Milky Way does have spiral arms in it that you can see and detect, and we do. So yes, we see those. I'm sorry. It's so hard to talk right now because this is so beautiful. So beautiful. We're losing our lock every now and then, but it comes back. Right? So hi. Oh man. Look at how beautiful this is. Holy cow. Phew. I've just never seen the Lagoon Nebula like this. Holy jeez. Look at this. Wow. Okay, let me just get out of my space cadet mode here. All right, all this red is hydrogen gas that's being ionized. This part's being ionized by this O star here. This part is being ionized by this cluster of hot young stars. This dark stuff is dark dust that was formed in the outer atmospheres of big supergiant red stars and then liberated to the interstellar medium when those supergiants went supernova at some point in the past. Now, you can see that some of them are little tiny dots like this one here. Okay, actually, let me kind of show you where. Okay, so you'll see, for instance, there's a little dot right here, right? There is a little dot right here. I say little. That dot is a fraction of a light year in size, maybe more. There's one there. Okay. All throughout here, you see there's this area here where you got this central stuff, and then you got right in here, right there, you got that collection of dust that's collapsing in there and separating itself from the rest of the cloud. Another big one is right here. Okay. Another one is right here. Okay. All these areas are just some of the hundreds of areas within this nebula where gravitational collapse is happening. And that gravitational collapse is fostering other star formation that we're seeing in here. You know, it's just crazy. Now, we've got 13 acquired here. Let me see if I color correct what I get now. It's probably going to tend toward the blue a little. Yeah, it did. So, the actual color is more toward the red. Yeah, like that. Oh man, I don't know if it's just me, but this is just unbelievable. So much detail that is lost to us with the other telescope. Oh man, it looks three-dimensional. This image is almost three-dimensional. It's almost like you're spiraling down into this hole where this O star is blowing out all this material and pushing it away. Really, really incredible. Wow. I'm just blown away. Oof. Wow. Let me move over here and kind of go up in the air a little bit. There we go. James Dugan, how you doing? Good day, James. How's it going? Good to see you. Fred Phonebone is with us. Says, when I was younger and using a 6-inch Dynoscope Newtonian, that's from the Criterion, an RV6. Am I right, Fred? I could always find the Lagoon because of the adjacent stars look like a bottle of Head and Shoulders shampoo. Oh, well done. Very cool, very cool. Yeah. So the 6-inch Dynoscope, I had one on order for like 6 months, and I got very, very upset because they kept giving me the runaround. I visited the Criterion. I went down there. I talked to the people. I ordered an RV6, which was sitting out there in the lobby. I couldn't wait to get it. My father was building me an observatory in the backyard. And I was so excited. And then I kept calling the Criterion. Oh, no, it's not going to be ready. No, another month. And they kept putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. And finally, I remember being on the phone with my mother, and she was talking to the folks at the Criterion. And it was one of those lines where I was upstairs in my room, and she was talking on the phone to them, and I was listening and asking questions. So my mother was on the phone, I was on the phone, they were on the phone. And the guy on the other end of the line said, well, what would you like to do? Do you want to cancel the order or keep going? And my mother said, Mark, what do you want to do? Do you want to cancel it? And I said those fateful words, cancel it. And from that point on, I just entered this little depression because this telescope that I had a building that I was building for, I didn't even know how I was going to mount it in there yet, was now not going to happen. The very first observatory, I was so upset. And Fred Phonebone says, yeah, me too. I called to cancel after 3 months, but they finally shipped it. Yeah. I ended up getting a Celestron 5 to slake my thirst for seeing the universe with eyes bigger than my own. And look at this view, guys. Look at this. Oh my gosh. This is a small part of it too. It's a small part of the lagoon. Oh. I can't wait to look at the Chinese dragon. That's another part. Yeah, so I canceled my order with Criterion and bought a Celestron 5. And I was always taken by the smell. When you open the case of the Celestron 5, you could smell that gray foam. And the telescope had a distinctive odor to it. And so every time I smell that on gray foam, because I actually use that foam a lot, because I'm always packing submarine models and other things for clients when I do a Navy project or whatever. And I smell that, and all of a sudden, I'm just whisked back to my childhood when the Celestron 5 was opened for the first time. And sometimes I would just open this hard shell case just to smell the smell of the telescope, and I would close it, and that was enough. Kind of crazy. But back to the astronomy at hand, I want to say something that Prow mentions. He says the dark patch looks like it's being pulled or stretched like from fluid dynamics. He's talking about this. Okay, now, interesting you mentioned that because when you're in a nebula like this, the density is much higher than empty space, for sure. But not that much. I'll give you an example. We have like 10 to the 20th atoms per sugar cube size of air. And in areas like this, at the most dense, like the darkest part of this cloud, we may have 30,000 atoms per cubic centimeter. Not 10 to the 20th atoms, or 10 to the even more. Okay? So when we look at something like this, we're actually looking at a very, very low quantity of atoms per cubic centimeter. However, what we do see is that they do act much like other media, like water or air or clouds being dragged through the sky by wind. It's that here the wind isn't wind like air. This is radiative wind, the wind from a hot O-star radiatively blowing a bow in this dark nebula here. Okay? So you see an arc blown by this O-star, which is influencing how this has been shaped. It could be these denser areas stuck together because they're gravitationally collapsing together, and the more tenuous areas out here are stretched apart in an arc as it's separating. And we're just seeing a snapshot in time. Isn't that beautiful? And now I'm going to drag this mid-level down just a bit, and it's going to make us suddenly lose a lot of the noise that we're seeing. And I'm going to bring this up a little higher. Well, maybe a little, keep it off the peak. All right, look at that. Wow. That's the real colors, guys. The real colors. I'm amazed at how beautiful. What am I doing? We got to zoom into this. Look at that. Look at the complexity in here. Here's one of those globules right there. Now I'm going to tell you about these globules too. Those globules I'm talking about are these areas right here. One here. There's a number of them throughout this entire nebula, and this nebula is actually famous for them. So if we, if we actually look at different areas in a nebula, we can see these dark objects appearing throughout. And what they are is they're called Bok globules, named for Bart Bok, was an American astronomer. Here's a couple more. There's one right here, one right there. There's one there at the end of this part. And so these Bok globules are areas where dust is condensing and gravitationally coalescing. And this gravitational collapse, as it is something that is related directly to the material inside the cloud, being dust and gas collapsing. It's inside these dark, tiny spaces where a star will eventually be formed, and where a star may eventually have planets around it, formed from the material that's in this dust. What's in the dust? Well, the dust, interstellar dust, is a very complex beast. It's primarily made of carbon atoms combined with each other, silicon atoms combined with each other, and even more atoms found in the rest of the periodic table. You'll have manganese, you'll have magnesium, you'll have phosphorus, you'll have calcium, you'll have all kinds of other elements out in this interstellar medium, liberated by a supernova that blew a star apart at one point or another. And that brings us to this amazing, beautiful panoply of colors that we see in the sky. We could never survive anywhere in this region all the way on out through this entire nebula if we didn't have a dark cloud protecting us. We have this dark cloud. If we're in the middle of this dark cloud, we might actually be okay, even though everything else around it is bathed in this heavy ultraviolet radiation. But this dark cloud is dense enough to absorb most of the ultraviolet radiation hitting it, allowing it in the far reaches away from the star to possibly host a star with planets, planets that might have an atmosphere. And when this star goes supernova someday, and it will, okay, when this star goes supernova someday, then the ultraviolet radiation will cease, and this illumination from red will go away. And thus, all the planets with potential atmospheres in here, or throughout this dark region of the cloud, in here, down in here possibly, all of those particular planets will have the ability to then form. Now, these O stars in here, like this one, these O stars last only a few million years, as opposed to billions of years. All right? And when you look at the most long-lived stars in the universe, they're called M stars, the M-class star. Not to be confused with the Star Trek M-class planet, okay? But M stars are red because they're not very hot in their temperature. They're only about 2,500 to 3,500 Kelvin, okay, or 5,000 degrees on the surface of the star, called the photosphere. And that area on the star being that cold means the planets that form are going to be much closer to it, and they're going to orbit, and they could possibly host atmospheres and life. Now, those red stars, known as red dwarfs or M-class stars, are so long-lived that the very first one that ever began in the universe hasn't even gone through a third of its life yet. They last trillions of years. Our star's only going to last a few billion years, about 10 billion years, and we're about halfway through that. So our star has another couple billion years to go, and then we will be able to figure out how to get off our planet long before then, I hope. So this is gorgeous. Let's do this color correction again. Yeah, man. So the red is hydrogen gas. This here, this color here, this is due to oxygen in this nebula that's doubly ionized. We call that O3, not O2. You would think that doubly ionized oxygen would be O with a Roman numeral 2 next to it, but it's an O with a Roman numeral 3 next to it. Okay, O3. And that's because the base state of oxygen, where it has all its electrons, is the very first one. So it's O1 is oxygen with all its electrons. Okay, hasn't been ionized, where the electrons bounce off the atom. So when you bounce one electron off an atom, it becomes the second ionization state, because the first one is where it has all its electrons. So it'll be O2, Roman numeral 2. Not to be confused with O numeral 2, which is what we breathe. It's doubly ionized, or singly ionized oxygen is O2. Doubly ionized is O3. Okay, and so forth. This is beautiful. I gotta save this. We have 47 photos taken of this. Wow, that's beautiful. All right. Let's save exactly a scene. It's 1:45 a.m. here. Oof, look at you. Now, with this camera, one of the things we're going to do eventually is take mosaics. We'll take a lot of pictures of, say, this. Then we'll move over where this is on the extreme right edge, And the other here will be the rest of the nebula. We'll actually be able to make this giant mosaic of this nebula. Okay, this is a beautiful dark cloud up here as well. Again, a lot of gravitational condensing going on up here. And the shapes are all determined by the stellar winds that are blowing outward. Now, with the past cameras, we've noticed that this center part would be blown right out. It would actually look. Let me show you. It'll look like this. It'll be really, really bright. If we're trying to get some of the dim features. But this camera has what's called a very high dynamic range, and we're able to see all of that in one view. So we can actually see all the way to the core and all the way to the faintest levels in here just by letting the camera adjust itself. It's really very, very impressive. So impressive that I don't want to stop. But I know that we have to at some point. Anyway, I hope you guys are having a good time. All right, so... Oh, you're kidding. I did it again. I didn't change this to the Lagoon nebula. I thought I said set target name. Apparently I didn't. So now I'm going to come back out of here. I'm going to save with annotations in the correct directory. And then I will come over here. We're guiding nicely. That's good. Then I'll come over here and I'm going to save the whole thing one more time and save exactly as seen. And that's all going to Messier 8 or the Lagoon Nebula directory. So now I got the directory right. I am sorry for being an idiot and doing that like that. Okay. However, we got it now. So I'm going to just come out of here. That was beautiful. I just think that's absolutely stunning. Donald says, please keep going. I'm good for another hour. I don't know if I am. Yeah, it's 1:48 a.m. here. But that's okay. It's Saturday night, man. And I am going to go as long as I can. Which, I don't know if that'll be much longer. But we got things to see, man. I got to tell you. All right, so we were just down there looking at Herschel 36, and I think we did this before, but you know what? We didn't do I haven't done this with this telescope yet. It's called the Omega Nebula, and let's go to the Omega Nebula. Let's go back and. There it is, right there. All right, so to get to the Omega Nebula, we're gonna pull this out here a little bit. This is a perfect size for the Omega Nebula. Oh my. This is a really stunning nebula. So let's come back here and let's actually get some stars. Okay, let's get our guide star. Okay, we got our guide star. We're guiding. We're stabilizing. Alright, so now what we'll do is I'm going to say 25 seconds again. We don't even need to go that much. This is very bright. And we're going to now go to our low light mode. Go to our deep sky mode. So now, here in this opening area here, I'm going to I'm going to actually dock this up here. All right. We have just about 8 seconds, 5 seconds. James Dugan, thank you, says, nice shot. The dark reds, I know, right? There we go. And now that, of course, is here. And I've got the black level is riding over the edge there. So what I'm going to do is take off our zoom so I can get all of this. Pull this way down. And then let's drag this down a little bit. And now you can see, now I've never, oh, look at how beautiful. Wow. The Omega Nebula, I've never used this camera on the Omega Nebula yet. And it's just outstanding. Wow. We've never seen all this detail in here. This is all new to me. We just don't get to see that. You know? Man. Oh, man, that's really something. Okay. All right, so what's interesting here, and I saw this with the other camera. You notice there's like a little blue patch here, and the rest of this is sort of whitish. And then there's more blue here and here. That's not the same kind of nebula as the whiter parts. That's a little bit different. It could have something to do with the density, but I don't think so. I don't think so. Now this, again, as I said, this is the Omega Nebula, also known as Messier 17. It's known as the Checkmark Nebula, the Lobster Nebula. Goes by a bunch of names. Okay, it's called the Swan. It's called Messier 17. It's called NGC 6618. It's known by a lot of names. And we're going to just pick one of them. All right, we'll save the image with annotations. So we have that now saved in the directory. And we've got 6 images here, and already it's looking great. This here, interesting satellite trail. You notice how it's very, very dim, then it gets bright for a while, then dim again, then it brightens again. This is a tumbling satellite body, probably in a spent rocket booster, and it's just spinning slowly in space as it comes through our field, and it's going this way toward the east. Yeah, so that's interesting. You can tell a lot by the trail. Wow, I've never been interested in the Omega Nebula like I am now. I've always been like, Omega Nebula, not as exciting. But I beg to differ. It's got a lot more excitement going for it than I ever thought. Look at this. Now, this is not, again, I gotta make sure you understand this, all this here, out here, this is not a void where there's nothing. This is dark nebula. Okay, this is dark dust. This is in the middle of a dark lane in our galaxy. And this is all dark dust. And this is showing the dust in some cases, like this knot of dust which is up here in the foreground, and that glowing is back here, all right? And the same with this. But this dark dust is what was liberated from supernovae and from the outer atmospheres of these very old stars. And this is within the spiral arms of our galaxy, and we're seeing the interplay of dust with this ionized hydrogen gas, which is glowing red here. Oh man, it's just so... There's so much depth of detail here. Never saw all this additional detail. This is really crazy. Wow. James Small says, I see Mark on the Discovery Channel. I'm like, hey, that's Mark. I know him. Yeah, you do, James. That's cool. I'm glad you I'm glad you have an interest in that stuff. I was on Aussie TV on Ancient Aliens also. That's funny because Ancient Aliens has asked me a few times to be on the show, and I'm always a little hesitant because, they tend to never give any real answers. As far as I could tell, maybe I'm not giving it a fair shake, and so they asked me to come on one show, and I said sure. And they said, okay, well, when can we fly you out to Los Angeles? I'm in Connecticut. I said, oh, well, actually, I do much of my analysis is done here in my office. In fact, the same computer I'm on now is the one I actually use to do all the TV shows, and they come here to film. And I said, if you come here to film, we'll have it all set up. And I have all roll away carts. All the computers come out on carts, and we don't have to worry about anything. You just tell me what you want to do. And they said, oh, well, we don't have the money to send a crew out to you. And I said, well, my son has a production company. He could do it. No, that doesn't work for us. We'll just license your footage from A&E. And that's what they did. But my son has been doing, his production company's been filming my A&E appearances as well. So I didn't see anything wrong with that. But he's not proven to them, so I get it. Hey, Jay. Jay Caesar is with us. Hi there, Jay. Everybody in chat, say hello to Jay. Jay, if you've never seen our show before, you've been lurking in the background, look at the beautiful nebula. This is live in real time. This is the Omega Nebula, otherwise known as Messier 17, the Checkmark Nebula, the Lobster Nebula, all these different names. But what it is a stellar nursery where young hot stars have illuminated the gas in here through a process called ionization and recombination, where the electron of a hydrogen atom bounces off and absorbs light and then gives it off when it comes back into the atom. And the predominant wavelength given off is red light with these hydrogen atoms. And so that's why we see what we see here. Wow. And I gotta tell you, James, this is the first time, or Jay rather, this is the first time I've seen the Omega Nebula with this camera, because we just put this camera on the telescope recently as part of a grant from Asterion Foundation down here. Asterion is an amazing foundation. They work with astronomers. They are helping us by giving us money for a spectrograph that we haven't got yet. We're going to get it. Hopefully it'll be delivered. It's coming from France. And so the camera came quickly. So we used the camera on this telescope. And we're putting an even better camera on the telescope after we get the spectrograph in. So this camera will be replaced with one that's even better than this. But look at that view. And we zoom in on this. It's just fascinating views of this nebula. Stuff we've not ever been able to see before. Oh, look at that detail. Wow. Interesting, too, to note that this little line of dust right here, that's like several light years long. So if you're in the middle of that, you might not even know you're inside of a nebula. You know? Really, really interesting. So, that said, yeah, cool. Oh, almost looks like a painting, doesn't it? Doesn't look like it's real. Yeah, but it is. Okay, we'll save that exactly as seen. Alright, okay, I'm gonna go to another object because we might as well have time. It's 2 a.m. here in the East Coast of the United States. But I think we can do one more object. I was going to call it with the Omega. But while I'm here, I think I want to actually go further up and show you the Eagle Nebula. The Pillars of Creation I showed it last time, so we have seen it before, but it's beautiful. And here they are, and of course I have to stop my guiding because I forgot to shut it off. It's okay. Oh yeah. So now what we're gonna do is the pillars of creation are right here, so I'm gonna move us over a little bit. Okay. And that looks pretty good. I'm going to move it just a little bit more to the right because there's something out here which I want you to see. And we'll move up a little bit. Okay. Okay, let's try that. That might do it. Okay, so now let's go and let's grab some stars. The guide, and we're off and running. We got multiple stars. Oh, why did we lose that? I know why, because of the wind. We had wind hit us out there. And when we have wind, well, you can't help it. Alright, we're going to let that center up. We're going to let that stabilize. Takes a few seconds. You'll notice that white dot move more into the crosshairs. And then we'll be able to do this. Okay. Yeah, we got some wind pushing this around. Let me try this. Let's see if I drop us down to a 1.5 second exposure. It's going to be a little less. And I can redo this and guide on that so it'll correct quicker. Okay. Alright, let's give that a try. Alright, and now what we'll do is we're going to do a 25-second photo. I don't have to do many, long time. The primary pillar we're going to look at is right here. Might have to move it up, but in the event I don't have to, I'm gonna put it here. All right, so down there, my Asterian Foundations logo, our counter is moving up. Okay, and we've got 4 seconds left until we see the first image. There we go. Let's see how we look. Wow. The pillars of creation, and then we have the fairy over here, which is what I wanted you to see. Oh, this is one of those sites, one of those places that's really quite astounding. Again, it's a stellar nursery, an area where stars are being formed. But one thing you want you to notice, I'm going to just pull this forward a little bit. It's going to get a little noisy. This is a young hot star cluster. And it's spewing copious amounts of ultraviolet energy and radiation in all directions. And that radiation has a cost. That radiation can push materials over time, over thousands, hundreds of thousands, and millions of years. It can push material away that's very lightweight, light mass, low mass, like hydrogen gas, like lightweight molecules of dust. And what's happened is it has done so. But you'll notice that there's these pillars, and they seem to point right at the cluster. This points at the cluster. This points at the cluster. This points at the cluster. That points at the cluster. Why is that? Well, the reason is very simple. And it's shrouded in an extremely complex chemistry. But here's what's going on. The radiation from this cluster is coming down and hitting the gas and dust all around it. But in this particular place, and in this particular place, and in this spot, okay, this spot and this spot, these areas are areas of higher density of material. Okay, this is very, very high dense material in here. And so those densities, okay, like the area at the tip here, the area at the tip here, All right, as I said, here and out here. Okay, these are areas that are protecting what's behind it from the radiation of the stars because they're dense. And that protection automatically makes a pillar over time because the stuff here gets pushed away because it's outside the protection zone of this denser knot of material here. But the stuff behind that knot survives. Same thing here, etc. So whenever we see a cluster that's in a nebula, look for these pillars. They're always going to be present. We've seen them a lot. Okay. Now, in areas like this, you can see this guy right here. This is another one of those globules. Now, these globules, known as the Bach globules, these globules are really something because what they do is they are the hosts of potential planetary systems and hosts of potential new stars, because that's how they operate, right? They're condensing, and they're condensing the hydrogen gas in there. This is many solar systems in size right here, because this region is thousands of light years away. Let's go see, tell you how many. Let's go back to this. Oh, sorry, hold on. Just a minute. All right. One more time. Thank you. All right. So this region, like I said, is thousands of light years away. And let's get that number for you. 7,000 light years away. So this is 7,000 light years. Knowing it's 7,000 light years, I wrote a computer program that can actually measure the size of this object and determine how big it is in actuality compared to the solar system, etc. And that's important. So these pillars are light years long. Light years, many light years in length. Incredible. Okay. So that said, we end up having a giant feature here, which is just incredible. And it's a stellar nursery, a place where stars are being born. And it's a place where when stars die, they litter the area around them with dust and debris from supernovae and so forth. And then the universe takes over. It's incredible. So we have 12 frames here. And I believe that I've already got this selected here. Nope. See, got to make sure. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to select this. Right. And we want to select this M16, the Eagle Nebula. We'll set that target name right there. Okay. And then we'll save the image with annotations. So when you go here, when you go to skytourlive.org and you select, take me to cool pictures, you'll be able to wade into the directories where you'll actually see, for instance, this image. Okay. And this image is the one we just provided where you can see exactly what you're looking at. All right. And that's not the only one you're going to get, obviously. There's an astronomical FITS format, which we use to do the actual processing of this object. And then we have the ping file, which shows you exactly what you see here. Okay, so you get this image. You can go download that for free. These are the pillars of creation, just like the Hubble showed us. All right, so if you go in there, okay, look at that. Wow. Pillars of creation, unbelievable. Magic. It's like magic. Okay, let's get some more control here. Let's pull this off a little bit just to see what else we got. Now in a big city you might end up seeing something like that, but where we have a dark sky like this, we can actually jump right in and pull out a lot more detail. And if we move this in, okay, then it gets even brighter. And this is something called the fairy up here. You see this arm, again, being eroded by this cluster and pushing down all this dust and pushing it out of the way, and the denser stuff staying here and protecting what's on the lee side. You know, really neat. And the farther you get, the less of an effect it has. So when it's nearby, it can do its job, but when it's farther away, it doesn't really do too much. So what happens is, around these young stars, in an area of the interstellar medium, or we call the ISM, these stars tend to form a cavity around them that's stripped of gas and dust because it pushes it all away. And that's spherical in nature in a perfect universe. But because it's not perfect, it might be a misshapen cavity like this. See, this is a cavity as well. But you see most of that stuff, like this right here, this could be way up here in the foreground, and those stars could be way back here. So this could be on the other side of the cavity toward us. Right, this little guy. You know, but we see it as a 2D representation. We don't really recognize the 3D. Like these fingers here of this could actually be like this, reaching for us, and this is projected as a flat little stub to us. And maybe this is much longer than we realize, but its projection makes it seem like it's very short, and vice versa. In fact, this could be as long as this if stretched out. Maybe this one is like this to us, and this one is like that to us, which means it looks very different. And your eyes, you can't trust your eyes. You can only trust the data, because the universe has a way of really, really fooling you. You know? Alright, 21 here. I'll take a picture here, and I'll save it exactly as seen. Wow. So what do you think, guys? You think tonight was worth this? What do you think? We saw some cool galaxies. We saw some amazing things. Sam S. asked if I color corrected it. I did. I'll do it again. Yeah, I just color corrected it again, Sam. Let me cut out the here. Okay. So we can pull this way down, and you'll see in a small telescope you might see something like that. Okay, just barely catching it, and then you can see more in a bigger telescope, again with your eye. Well, but with the camera though, the camera allows you to see so much more. And if we really push this like this, we can get some really, really bright areas in here. We can actually see more detail. Okay, like up in here. Yeah, these areas here are the primary ones. Now, some people said when they look at this right here and this right here, it looks like a woman holding her dog. And it does. And this is maybe the woman's boyfriend or husband walking behind her while she's holding her dog. Come here, Fluffy. It's kind of cool. All right. Very, very nice. Some nice nebula music now. Fred Bonebone says, definitely worth it. Thanks for staying up late. Yeah, no problem. I have to start late anyway, right? Fred says, Star Queen on her throne. Oh yeah, I guess that could be. This is the throne. And this is the Star Queen with her puppy dog. Or this is her arm. This is her scepter. Oh, and needs a little help. Very cool. Wow. All right, 28. Now, as the Milky Way rises more, guys, what we're going to do in coming weeks is we're going to be able to start looking way up here and checking out some very incredible features up here. Right now, Cygnus is now very high in the sky. It's 50 degrees, well up there in the sky. And the North America Nebula is blazing high. I'd love to take pictures of it tonight, but I do have to sleep. So I'm going to have to spare you until later in the season when that comes up right when it's sunset. So that's cool. Right now we're here in the Milky Way. And we're also going to look at the Sagittarius star cloud here. And we'll take a look also at Bode's window right here in later episodes. Because Bode's window is the closest thing to looking to the center of our galaxy, which is right through here. This is Sagittarius, the Archer. Okay, if we look, you can see the Archer, okay, represented here. However, what we're looking at, if you know, like the Big Dipper is what we call an asterism within Ursa Major, and the teapot here is an asterism within the overall constellation of Sagittarius. Okay, so this is the top of the teapot, this is the spout, and of course the base of the teapot and the handle. And the idea is that the teapot is spilling, and it's spilling milk to make the Milky Way, or other people say it's steam. So that's just what people say, so it's kind of cool. Either way, that'll be up high later on in the month, and we'll be looking at it then as well. So let's take one more photo here. We have 33 images of the Eagle Nebula, or Measure 16, the Pillars of Creation. And so we got that. And so this is now available to you up at skytourlive.org. If you guys haven't done so, consider going to our Etsy store to get many of these objects we take on clothing, mugs, and so forth. All kinds of stuff up there to grab. T-shirts as well. And if you want our special T-shirt that we just came out with, contact us at skytourlive.org and let us know. If you give us a $25 donation, we'll send you one of these T-shirts. And you can join the elite club of people that have these T-shirts. All right. So that said, with 35, I'm going to call it a night. 35 exposures. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I really enjoyed your company. I enjoyed seeing some of the new faces. Thank you so much. Again, subscribe and like. Hit the if you subscribe, hit the bell. Edit 76. Thank you so much for joining us. Nice to see you, and hopefully it was worth it to you. And James Small, coolest space nerd ever. It's I guess that's a good thing. I am a space nerd, and you know what? I make no bones about it. Okay, well, you guys have a good night, and remember, when you go out, keep looking up, and don't forget, we live on a tiny pale blue dot, and from a light year away, no one can see all the little tiny gains that generals and admirals are trying to make, acquiring a small little piece on our blue speck. So we're one world. It's hard to see it as any other way when you're an astronomer. So I hope you will treat each other right, and I will see you on the next Sky Tour. So good to see you all here. So thank you guys, and you have a good night. See you later.
Stars so bright in the sky, on Arizona nights they fly. Nebulae in colors rare, galaxies beyond compare. Sky tour in the night so clear, brings the universe near. Real-time wonders to see, streaming light for you and me. Lift your eyes to the skies, universe in all its light. Sky tours bringing the views, every night feels brand new. In the dark, the night unfolds, stories of the cosmos told. Through the lens, a distant dream, living real like a gleam. Far away, up so high, across the stars beyond the skull. Through the lens, a distant dream, living real like a gleam. Lift your eye up so high, across the stars beyond the sky. Sky tour shows us the way, every night a new display. Lift your eyes to the skies, universe in all its light. Sky tours bringing the views, every night feels brand new. Lift your eyes to the skies, universe in all its light. Sky tours bringing the views, every night feels brand new.